You finally got your Amazon advertising account, or you already have it since quite a while, but you simply don't get the bits and the costs under control. You spend way too much for not enough orders. If this sounds familiar for you, I have some tips and tricks you can use when you advertise on Amazon. The first rule is very simple but also very important. You should have an idea before you create the campaign what you want to reach. You just want to optimize some extra orders, maybe optimize the positioning, then it is enough when you make at the beginning just a automatic campaign, low bids, and then see how it goes, and after a few couple of weeks you can correct it a little bit upwards, a little bit downwards, so just that you make these extra orders without spending too much on advertising. On the other hand, you can also aggressively push niches or certain designs for events, for example. Then it is necessary to make the bids higher, to also spend more, of course, also to go into the minus with your advertising, so the money you spend is higher than the ones you get from orders, and then you simply hope at some point in the future it will reinvest. And it also needs active managing. You most of the times will make automatic campaigns, manual campaigns with products, with keywords, optimize them, and so on. So you see there is a wide range. I also have, for example, here my advertising account. You can see we spent more than $3,000 over the last 2 or 3 months, and you also see here that we have around 770 orders. So if you have a look at it, you would say, hey, you spend way too much advertising money for not enough orders. But also when you can see here the chart, you see it is constantly going up, so impressions are going higher, also the orders are going higher, of course also the costs are a little bit higher, but this is all for pushing reasons. So we start to push in August, we start to push in September, so we have the money that comes back in October, in November, in December, in the fourth quarter. And this is way better what we did last year, despite the fact that of course we spent a lot for not so much orders in relation. So you see, the first release, you should define what you want to do, and then go with it, live with it, optimize it, and then see what it brings in the future. The second rule is always create portfolios you work with. The first thing you should do when you go into your advertising account, go to portfolios and create here the portfolio for the niche you want to advertise. For example, in this case, Halloween. Simply make a portfolio, then put in here the campaigns you want. I have it separated in automatic and in manual campaigns. The big advantage is you always have an overview. You can always sort for a certain range, always exactly for that niche. If you just manage it with campaigns, at some points you will have 100, 200 or even more campaigns, and you will lose the overview, and then you don't even know what exactly has a lot of costs but brings no orders, and so on. So second one, also very important, always work with portfolios. Third rule, don't make yourself crazy with hitting always the exact bid you need for this niche, you need for this design. It depends on current interest, on seasonal trends, etc. If now the 0.30 click is the exact bid or the 0.26 click. What I recommend to you is work in areas. And for example, I have here from my experience the area for shirts. So you see, when you make a new campaign, you have no data from the past, etc., then price your automatic campaign for US shirts between 0.30 and 0.45. Depends on how aggressive you want to push them. If you go below them, of course you will get impressions, but then it runs more into a lottery campaign, so you get probably a few impressions. You can also make a sale or the other, but if you wanna really try to find out what the potential is, you should get with bids like that. UK is even higher than US. This purely depends on my experience. Maybe there is this person outside who makes a bid for 0.20 and makes sales and bids. I don't do that on UK. It's the marketplace where I have the least impressions by far. So yeah, from my experience, you only can make orders and impressions here when you have a very high bid for whatever reason. Germany is a little bit lower than the US. You can compare it with France. Maybe you can also make a 0.25 bid at the beginning. Depends how fast you want to see results, how risky you want to be based on your budget, etc. So DE, this range, France and Italy always a bit down, and the least is the Spanish marketplace from my experience. Even when you make bids with just 15 cents, this is already enough if you hit the niche to make good impressions and also to make regular sales. So I can just say it again, this is based on my experience, but this is a good area, a good corridor where you can start with your biddings and then see how it develops. Of course, this is just for the start. You will always have to react, to correct, and based how risky you are here, it depends a little bit more effort or a little bit less, but yeah, this you will see over time. Rule number 4 is don't be fooled by short-time data in your advertising console. Very important again. I have here a time horizon of around the last 2 weeks, and I can tell you that this data you see here is definitely wrong. It takes Amazon around 2 till 3 weeks, based on my experience, till nearly all data or all data is delivered here in your console, means impressions, orders, spent, and so on. So what you should always do if you want to analyze a advertising campaign you have running, go back at least 2 weeks and then take this year for example, and then you can be more or less sure that the main of the data should be delivered here, and then you can work here with this. Of course, there are these cases where you spend really a lot of money and you don't get orders, and then maybe you should wait 2 weeks. You don't have to. I can give you a rule that I define for myself and that is working. When you take the last 3 days, then you have here your spend, and then you have here your orders, and then you can calculate around 20 to 25% more sales on this number here, and also on your single campaigns, of course, and then you have a realistic value what you really sold in this term. If you have to react, you should just do that if you have no other possibility, because just because Amazon delivers the data a little bit later, you should not destroy your campaign. Maybe it's running very good, but the data doesn't look so good because it takes 3 weeks till it is up to date. And another rule is, it is based how big your campaign is. If you have a big campaign where you spend $100 every day, more data will be delivered and more sales will be delivered. If you just have a campaign where you spend like $20 and you have one sale within 3 or 4 days, I can already tell you, you spend probably too much and you should go a little bit lower with the bids. So 4th rule, don't be fooled by short-term data. And then we have the fifth rule, and this is a very controversial one, to be honest. Never work with budgets. Of course, it makes sense to define a time frame for especially when you have events like Halloween, but when the campaign is good, from my point of view, it can run 24/7 and it will bring you the results, because if you spend one day $50 and the next day $100, the orders should scale up with the costs you have and then bring you also the results you want to have. Of course, when you are completely new to advertising and you don't have a feeling or anything like that for the bits, then you can set a daily budget and simply test a bit till you have a feeling for it. And people who are a little bit longer, I think you can, or you don't need a daily budget, and then you can let your campaigns run 24/7 and then they should bring the results you want to have. And this is of course just my point of view. When you have other experience, then you can simply write it down in the comments and we can maybe discuss about it. But the fifth rule is you don't need a budget. And this is it for today's video. I hope it can help you to make your advertising on Amazon a little bit better. If you have other experience or you use other methods and you want to share it with us, then simply write it down in the comments. Of course, you can also write a comment if you have any questions about this video here. It would be great if you can like this video. If you subscribe to this channel, it would help us a lot to grow, because then the YouTube algorithm will show us to other people. And if you wanna see now what we sold last month on Amazon merch, then you can click here on this video, and then I see you in the next one. Bye.